Hello everybody, my name is Ryan or MandRproductions and welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars Summer 2018 Imperial Conveyex Transport. This is based off the movie Solo, a Star Wars Story. It includes 622 pieces for $90, which is a little bit on the high side of price per piece, but there are a lot of large pieces in this set, but then again, the track on the set makes up about 70 of those pieces, and those are pretty much very cheap, so I don't really know what's going on there, but the price per piece is really high on this set, so if that's something you consider, you might want to steer clear. Anyway, the 5 figures are Chewbacca, Han Solo, 2 range troopers, and an Imperial Gunner, so pretty solid selection. I actually quite like the range troopers, and we'll be taking a look at those figures in a minute. This set is kind of accurate and kind of inaccurate to what we see in the film. Unfortunately, if you guys do remember in the film, it's like a monorail, but it's like a monorail with a top and a bottom. And in this case, we're only getting the top half of the monorail, or the train, if you will, and it really kind of sucks for that fact because, again, in the movie you had basically the top and the bottom, and you had like that, and they were running along a track in the middle, but not in this case, and that's kind of a shame. You just get the top part, and I don't know if kids are going to like that or not. I mean, that's what it ultimately comes down to, is whether or not the kids who are the main demographic of LEGO like that, and in my opinion, I'm iffy on it. I'll probably have really decided by the end of this review what I really think about it, but right now I'm not too high on it. I do recognize that it would be pretty much impossible for LEGO to do that for any semblance of a reasonable price, so I didn't reasonably expect them to make the set like that, but it's still just something to keep in mind. Anyway, let's take a look at the figs. Our first minifigure is Chewbacca, and this is very similar to the Han Solo movie Chewbacca that we got in the spring of 2018. However, this one has goggles printed onto his face, which is kind of cool. I like the way they look, obviously accurate to the scene, so that's definitely a major plus. Other than that, it's a standard run-of-the-mill Solo, a Star Wars Story Chewbacca. Chewbacca's partner in crime, Han Solo, here looks rather spiffy. He's got a very nice looking hairpiece. He of course has goggles, which I really like on this figure. If we remove that hairpiece and flip it around, you'll find his second facial expression also with goggles. I actually quite like that facial expression. It's a little bit more of a stern look, which is common for the secondary facial expression on the LEGO figures, and get that hairpiece on there and you can get an idea what that stern look looks like. Very cool. He's wearing a very large fur coat, which looks nice and furry really on his torso with the print. I think LEGO did a solid job with that. He's got his little clip there on his waist and legs, basically to hold him onto the thing without him falling off, which is good for him. And then around back, you can see a little bit of extra detail on the print there with the fur, and then a little bit of that belt on the back as well. Very nice figure. I'm actually quite pleased with this Han Solo. Obviously, Han Solo and Chewbacca are exclusive to this set at the time of recording this review. One of the more anticipated minifigures from the movie, in my opinion here, we have the Range Trooper, and obviously they made this in buildable figure form back in the spring of 2018, but here it is in minifigure form. Looks rather nice. I really like it. Obviously a new helmet mold on there. Looks rather different than what we've seen in the past, but nice little print there. Gold eye print on there as well. Kind of color matches his gloves in dark tan. Very close, kind of. I don't know. The torso kind of reminds me of a snowtrooper from episode 5. That's just kind of the vibe I'm getting from that. And then just kind of little details on there with the print, a little bit of the fur outline there that you can kind of see in the movie, which is pretty cool. Around back, you'll see more of a standard print there. And then he obviously has this new cloth piece in white there, which is, I've never seen it before, definitely new, at least in Star Wars, and it's just basically recreating the outfit he's wearing in Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars Story, so I like it. Looks rather nice. You do get 2 of these figures in the set, and they both come with this different weapon design than I've ever seen on a LEGO Star Wars weapon. They use this piece here on the very end of the regular white blaster and a white lightsaber hilt, and then they have this like black handle piece, I guess, so you can have him hold on to the handle. But it's about time LEGO just, you know, make the weapons instead of adding random pieces onto the end of them to kind of make it look like the weapons. Just make new molds and make the weapons. Come on. Lastly, we have the Imperial Gunner. Interestingly enough, he's wearing that same piece of cloth except in black between his head and his torso there. You can see the print on the face is actually rather nice. I really like seeing the microphone on the head like that. Get the Imperial insignia on the front of the helmet. Regular little kind of print on the torso. I don't know, I actually quite like the torso and leg print on this particular gunner. It's quite unique because he's on like a really cold planet. I actually do like that. And then around back, a little bit of a standard back print there. So I like this figure actually quite a bit more than other gunners. The odd thing about this one to me is that the helmet is in black, the cloth is in black, but then the rest of the figure is in like gunmetal gray, and that's kind of throwing me off. But other than that, it's a cool figure. Not bad. Let's move on to the Imperial Conveyex Transport. The Imperial Conveyex Transport comes in two separate sections. Of course, we have the front train and the motor of the whole thing, if you will. And then, of course, we have the cargo train car, and we'll take a look at that in a moment, combine the two, and see what they can really do. But this front section has a nice angle to it. You can see that there, running along with some grill pieces to kind of recreate a very nice pattern there. You, of course, have the tread that kind of runs through there, and you can open that up to access that if you really need to, although you don't really need to. That's just kind of the way the design works. You don't really ever need to open that, but it does look rather nice, kind of fits in there very nicely. You have these large circular bits here, which will open up and actually allow you to store your range troopers' weapons in there, so you can kind of drop those in there. It's a rather large storage area with not much use other than storage. You can't really, I mean, you could fit a figure in there if you just lay them down, but that's not really the point of that. You have some ventilation here on the side. You're going to find another very large sticker on the other side. I don't know how it would look without stickers. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if it would look better or worse. Some people do like having them on, some people like having them off. Up here, you can use the turret that you actually find on the back of the train, or the transport car rather, the cargo car, and you can actually plop that right up on there. We'll actually take a closer look at that when we get to that, but that's just something you can do, is you can transfer it up to the front there, which is kind of interesting. Obviously not really accurate to the movie, but it's there. The tread runs through the entire train, runs from the front all the way through to the back, and then underneath on the floor all the way through again. So very nice. I believe it's like 70 something pieces of tread. I want to say 77, but I don't remember for sure. They use some rubber wheels there to kind of help it run along on the front and in the back there, and then use this very large Lego circular piece to kind of rotate it through the rest of the area. So rather nice, works very well. I would say it runs well on most surfaces. You're not really gonna have a lot of trouble unless you're on a very, very slippery surface, I suppose. You can see more in the back there. This is connected up to the other car, but you can open it up and you can actually fit your Imperial Gunner in there. He's going to go into a seated position like so, very simple as you usually do, and then you can just drop him in there. I really love the tile piece that LEGO uses there for the figure to fit his feet in. It works very nicely because it creates a nice tight fit, but the figure doesn't get stuck in there if you want to take him out at any time, so it makes for a nice dual purpose there. And there you go. You have the other side of the car as well, where you can actually fit another figure if you want, and then of course you have the sticker, which is going to be the same on both sides. Here's the cargo car, and it actually has a pretty solid and compact look to it. I kind of think they both do, but this one more particularly because it's more box-like, and I kind of like that. You have on top the turret that I talked about, and of course you can fit any figure you want in there. In this case, we use the range trooper since we have the gunner preoccupied piloting the whole thing, but he can fit in there very nicely. There's a couple of stud shooters there, which you can shoot off very easily, dual wield them, and then of course reloading the stud shooters is a breeze as usual. You just stick the stud right on back in there, and it will kind of click into place, and you'll know when it's in there, like so. Anyway, you'll find a hatch on top of the car here, which is kind of where they make their entrance, they being Han Solo and Chewbacca in this particular set. Of course, if you get the other sets from this wave, you can kind of completely recreate the scene with the other characters as well. But there you go. Then kind of look down into there. Not quite as big a space for them to fit into as in the movie, but we'll take a look more inside there in a second. You can see we have these little things here for connections, so obviously you can add more to this train if you get more of these cars. So connecting the train is pretty simple. You just kind of drop that down on there, and it's going to be able to pull it no problem. This one just has rubber wheels underneath. It kind of looks like a very rudimentary build when you look underneath. I find that to be kind of comical, if you will, because it just looks like a 1990s build underneath. It's rather funny, but back on top here, we have some very large stickers. Once again, that's kind of a theme in this set. Very, very large stickers. Kind of hard to apply. You got to be very careful because you don't want those to go on crooked. Definitely don't want those to go on crooked. But let's get our figures off of the top here so we can access the interior. We'll actually pull this out of the way too. You can open up panels on either side here very simply, and they'll stop right about there on the top. You can try to fold them in to get some extra space here, and there you go. So you can fold them out up and in like so, and then you're going to have full access to the interior of this car, which is pretty crazy. So we have one loose box here. This is going to have your Coaxium. We've had this Coaxium in quite a few sets now. You kind of know what it looks like. If you've seen any of my other Solo a Star Wars story reviews, it's been way too many sets, I'd say, but it's kind of a focal point of the movie. It's in all 4 of these boxes here, which all go on these little yellow tiles here with the stud in the middle, so it fits very simply onto that. You can actually throw like a little range trooper down in here if you want him to be guarding the precious Coaxium. Going to be in there. And then of course you have a little ladder there for them to enter and exit from the top of the roof here. If you have this open, if that makes any sense there. Can't really show it when it's open, but you have them come through the roof and down onto the ladder to get in and grab the Coaxium and try to escape, so that's kind of neat. We'll get him out of there, but it's on a very simple hinge system. Couple of different, you have one that allows it to rotate like this, and then you have the other one that lets it move up and down, so that'll just go right into place. You have doors on either side, which lead to the interior, and yes, they are just open. There's no like actual door to it, if you will. See my finger come right through there. And then on the other side, it's going to be a very similar story. You'll find the same door, which is kind of cool, so they can run through trains if you have multiple trains. You can change around the interior of the trains quite simply, I would say. So it's a fun little train car, and I wish LEGO would sell these separately, because obviously people don't want to be spending $90 and then having just extra ones of these laying around. Certainly not me. I would be inclined to pay like $35, $40 for just one of these maybe, and you know, throw one more on the back of it, but I definitely won't buy another set just to get another car. Anyway, this car does serve one more purpose if you get another one of the Solo a Star Wars Story summer sets, and that's the Imperial AT Hauler. So I've adjusted it to make it a little bit easier for me to pick up, but the AT Hauler can actually pick this set up. You just come on over with the brown limbs on it essentially, and you click them in there. And you drop the other one on the other side like so, and then it will lift up and be taken away very simply. You can see it there. It is a little bit heavy on the hauler, so if you're holding it like this, it is a little heavy to actually hold with one hand. If you have 2 hands on it, I guess it's a little bit easier, a little bit less pressure on yourself, but it is honestly a little bit heavy, and it actually puts quite a bit of stress on the hauler itself. You can see the arms there while it's holding it, and then versus being on the ground, it's just more level, so it's just something interesting. It's a cool feature. It's kind of a nice combination. Reminds me of the Republic dropship with AT-OT, being able to pick up other Republic ships, and I really like that LEGO is able to kind of include this as a crossover feature in sets. It's not something you see too much in LEGO sets, but this is definitely one of the cool ones that they were able to get in there between the AT Hauler and this set. So you're probably wondering, what do I think about the set? Like, actually, do I actually think it's good? Is it worth $90? I mean, I'm hard-pressed to say yes, but I think I'm going to say kinda. Like, it's kind of worth $90. The only part that I feel, once again, is lacking, like on a lot of these more expensive summer sets, is I feel like there's not enough minifigures. I genuinely feel that for $90, only getting 4 figures is completely pathetic, especially when you get 4 in a battle pack that cost $15, and then they're like, oh yeah, we'll just throw in 5 in this one for $90. Like, dude, the prices are already really high. Like, just throw in another figure or 2 and it would make a lot more people happy, I think. At the end of the day, though, if you don't like the $90 price point, vote with your wallet, don't buy it. If they see that it's not selling well, maybe in the future they would reduce the price point on a set like this potentially. So definitely another case where you got to vote with your wallet. I think I've been saying that a lot with these summer sets, and it kind of holds true here again. 622 pieces for $90 sounds like a total ripoff, but in this case I don't really feel like it is. I feel like you get a pretty solid value. You can really stack things up when you get the Imperial AT Hauler, and you can throw this set in with that, and it makes for a fun time. I'll say I quite like the treads, and I like the interior on both the front train section and the cargo car, and I think it would be fun if you could get more cargo cars and kind of change around the interiors of them and have who knows what inside each of them. It could be a lot more fun, but I like this set. I love the range troopers, I like the Han Solo, I like the Chewbacca, I tentatively like the Imperial Gunner, so the 5 figures are good. I just wish there was 1 or 2 more. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and if you have anything to say, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious what you guys think about this set. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.